Pronto, Vincenza.
Pronto, Randy, and welcome everyone to our Pronto podcast, where we talk about all the beautiful things life has to offer. And this is our 41st episode of our lifestyle podcast, where we talk about fashion, self-care, influential stories, our goals, your goals, inspiration, favorite memories, you name it. We talk about it
A
all.
lot.
Yes, we do. And how have you been, Randy?
Really good. How about the Eagles, right?
I know, go Birds. This was exciting. So I'm wearing my Eagles green, as you can see, with my Eagles beads and everything. We were very excited for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They won, and it was just such a great game. Such a great game. I was really excited to watch the game with my family. What did you do for Super Bowl?
Just stayed at home and watched the game, but it was not a really exciting game. Like they blew them out.
Yeah, right? I don't know. It seems kind of exciting if you're an Eagles fan, right? I know everybody was saying that at the party. I was with my family. Obviously, everybody knows I'm always with my family, which is my favorite thing to do in my spare time, is spend time with family, especially on Sundays. So being that we were all together, we were watching the game together. It was really nice to celebrate the Eagles, since predominantly everybody at the party was an Eagles fan. We had a couple of Giants fans in the house and a couple of Jets fans in the house, because my family's originally from New York. And they were hurting a little bit inside, especially the Giants fans. And a shout out to my brothers, Italo and Vincenzo. They are diehard Giants fans, and they've always been. And they were hurting a little bit inside. But the funniest joke was because of Saquon Barkley being like one of the top players of the Eagles. The funniest joke is that everyone just says, "Thank you, New York," because it's been just such a great, season for the Eagles in general, but also for Saquon Barkley. And I'm a huge fan. So it was really cool to see his journey and to see how you can take a brilliant, talented player, and he can play for any team and the outcome is different. So it just goes to show that, your team is very important. And the people that you surround yourself with can really result in your success and leadership.
It was amazing because they were talking about the offense front line of the Eagles, and they're 100 pounds heavier than the last time the Eagles were at the Super Bowl. So most of the line, like 4 guys or 5 guys, are 365 pounds, 6'6".
Wow. I know it's exciting, but what's most exciting for everyone that's tuning in from all around, not just the country and the world, because we do have so many supporters for our Pronto podcast from all around, that here where we are from, the hometown team are the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's really neat to see the entire community uniting, and just it's so fascinating, but it's exciting because everybody today is walking around with a smile. Everybody today is walking around with a smile. If I'm correct, I believe they closed school to celebrate it. No, not just Philadelphia. I think some schools in the area, in the tri-state area, because it was such a big celebration. So it's very exciting time for all of us here in outside the Philadelphia city, but also in the Philadelphia area. So go Birds. Really exciting things are happening. But speaking of excitement, we have a very important week ahead of us, Randy. What is it?
Valentine's Day.
I know, it's Valentine's Day. It's the month of celebrating love. That's what I love to say. And it's not just celebrating with love, but celebrating with the people that you love. And it could be anyone. It could be friends, family, or significant other, whatever it may be. I always like to remind those that, may feel down about Valentine's Day. You don't need to celebrate it with a significant other. You should be celebrating with the ones that you love. So we celebrate all month long, even though you should be always celebrating love all year long, but we'll give it an extra push for the week. So I'm sure you notice what this bag is here all about. So we left it out as a reminder that we touch on this. So being that it is Valentine's Day week, and we will be very busy in our respective businesses between the salon and the restaurant. We decided to join forces, as we always enjoy doing, join forces and putting together I guess you would say a Galentine's Day gift. So Thursday, February 13th, this week, we are hosting, V&M Bistro is hosting a Galentine's Day event. And if you visit vmbistro.com for more information on the event itself, but Randy and I are joining forces and offering a Galentine's Day giveaway. And, it's gift card to Curry Hair, Skin, and Nails, and a gift card to V&M Bistro. But if you're interested in participating in the raffle, you have to attend the event at V&M Bistro this Thursday, February 13th. For more information, visit vmbistro.com. You can still RSVP. We still have availability. Oh, there's a
beautiful
visual of the interior part of the restaurant. We are taking reservations, so I highly recommend you make a reservation, reserve your table. That's the bar. Oh, I love our bar. It's so pretty. I love the aesthetics of the bar. Don't you agree, Randy?
Beautiful.
I always admire that photo. Yeah. It's the lighting for me, but we will have the whole place in red, obviously red and pink, but more so red. So to take advantage of this giveaway, you have to attend the event. And again, thank you, Randy, for joining.
My pleasure. Do you have a special menu?
We do, but it's more so if you visit vmbistro.com, you'll see the menu that we have online. We'll have all of our staple dishes available, but we're offering an exclusive drink menu for the holiday. Oh, wow. It's really fun. So you have to go check it out. Something that we just introduced is the espresso martini tower. I don't know if have you ever heard of the espresso martini tower before?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if you go to the VM Bistro Instagram page, you'll see a reel. There's a video there that is showcasing the espresso martini tower. It is 4 different espresso martinis stacked up. It's coolest thing. And it's one of our specialties that we are offering on our exclusive drink menu. So if you enjoy drinking espresso martini, we have a toasted marshmallow espresso martini, a Bailey's espresso martini, a pistachio nut espresso martini.
You recommend Uber?
Yes.
Uber?
So one person cannot order that. There's a disclaimer that comes with the towers, but visit the page, check out the menu, or just come visit us. Come visit us and you can see all the different selection of cocktails we're offering. We're really proud of our menu. And a shout out to my sister, Margarita, who's the M of V&M Bistro, who created and handcrafted all of these cocktails. And I had the very difficult job of tasting everything. I know. I never take credit for making it, but I will take credit for tasting it. And that's it.
And it's good.
Oh, it's good. It's very good. And I'm not a big drinker, so I can't drink too much, but tasting is safe, right? Tasting is safe. So we're really excited for that. Now, tell us a little bit about Curry Hair, Skin, and Nails, Randy. Do you feel that you're going to be booked out for the week? Can people still make appointments?
Yeah. The gift certificate business is really hot this week. And we sell a lot of gift certificates. It's February is not a busy service month, but we'll have people in there and doing facials and massages and.
That's exciting. Yeah. So
to celebrate.
So a great gift idea. So let's say, for instance, you cannot attend the Galentine's Day event at V&M Bistro this week, but you want to give someone you love, whether it's your mom, your sister, a friend, grandma, or even just anybody. It could be anybody, even whether it's your significant other or not. You just want to give someone a small thought. We're giving you 2 great gift ideas: Curry Hair, Skin, and Nails gift card or V&M Bistro gift card. So there you go. The no brainer, right? We gave you the perfect gifts. Who doesn't want good food and a spa day? I mean, I know I do. Sign me up. That's my top list of gifts. But I think it's a no brainer, right?
Tell me a little bit about Galentine Day.
So we did not make up this day, just so you know. I know a lot of people that are new to it. They are like, "Oh, did you make this up?" And I'm like, "No, we didn't. It just kind of happened." And we saw, that it was becoming a thing. It's the day before Valentine's Day where you celebrate with your friends, the gals, right? When it's that predominantly all the reservation are women that are coming in because they want to gather with their friends. And it's really just celebrate with the gals. That's why it's called Galentine's Day. But we didn't make it up. It just became a thing a few years ago. And my sister and I thought, well, we're two gals and we love gathering with our girls. And why don't we, make an event out of it? Because we love, we love the idea. We're like, let's try it. And the first year we hosted a Galentine's Day event, it was such a success. And who would have thought? Who would have thought?
I would think that men would make reservations. That's
if they're smart, they would. Yeah, if they're smart, they would. But we welcome all. That's the thing. Because I've had quite a few guys that come to the restaurant and that are regulars. They're like, well, can I come? Like, is it still open to the public? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But if you're thinking of getting a table, make a reservation. Please make a reservation because we book out every single year. And I know that it's almost booked out. We do have a few tables left. So definitely make a phone call or just go to vmbistro.com and you can RSVP. All right. On to more exciting news that we have to share, which I'm very proud. I'm full of gratitude by it. And I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of Randy and the entire production team. And we just want to acknowledge those who have nominated, not just us, the entire production team of the Pronto podcast for a nomination for the Best of Delaware Award in the podcast.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Right? Oh my gosh. For the list of podcasts, obviously we were very honored in the category. That was the word I was looking for, the category of podcast in the state of Delaware. And just to be considered for this award is something that we are very honored by, full of gratitude and touched, because it's all because of our viewers and listeners and all of our incredible guests. And that's who we credit. Yes, it takes a village, and we thank our production team that's behind the scenes working diligently to make sure that the show goes off without a hitch, and also making sure that everybody that we showcase shines. But I think we like to dedicate this nomination because it's still an extreme honor for us to be just considered to have to be the best podcast in the entire state of Delaware. Even just being considered, we like to dedicate this to all of our guests that we've had on our show. And it's because of all of those individuals who
amazing individuals.
Exactly. Right? Amazing individuals that took the time out of their busy day to trust in us and believe in us and have the courage to share their stories. Yeah. And it's because of them, it's allowed us to be noticed and recognized. So thank you to all those that have believed in us. Right. And even the ones that nominated us. So thank you again. So if you are interested in voting, you can go to Delaware Today. I believe it's delawaretoday.com, or just Google Delaware Today or Today Media on Google, and it will pop up Best of Delaware Awards for 2025. And you will be able to access the page to, I believe, visit the ballot where you can vote for Best Podcast in Delaware. You have the time, we would appreciate that vote. It's something that, we are very honored about. And again, it's not about winning. It's the fact that we were just recognized, because we're going to continue to keep doing what we're doing here, because that's what it's all about. Right, Randy?
Yeah. We have met some amazing people on the show, and, like after every show, we've said to ourselves, like, oh, we want to be friends with these people.
Oh, right? You say that perfectly, because we listen. Yes, we're here to speak, but more so listen. And we're inspired. We really are. And we're like, oh my goodness, I felt so inspired by that story. And so it's impactful. Yeah. So thank you. Speaking of impactful and speaking of our amazing, amazing guests, we have not one, but two incredible guests here on our show. And if I'm correct, is this our official first podcast of 2025?
Yes.
That's right. So what better way to kick off our 2025 season? Yes, we should have champagne. All right, the next one. Production team, make sure we get the champagne and we start popping bottles for the next show. But that's okay. We celebrate every single show that we are here for. So without further ado, it is our honor to introduce our guests. Jessica DeLuise is a physician assistant with a master's degree in health science and a physician assistant studies from Drexel University. She is a certified culinary medicine specialist, having received this certification from the American College of Culinary Medicine and at the Gold Ring Center for Culinary Medicine at Tulane University. Jessica now holds an advisory board chair for the ACCM, beginning in 2025. In addition, Jessica was one of the 30 PAs selected from around the country to complete an exclusive AAPA Nutrition Fellowship in 2022. Jessica won an Emmy Award as the creator and host of Eat Your Way to Wellness, airing on PHL 17 in Philadelphia and now streaming on Tubi TV. Our second guest here with us today is Cynthia Hudock, and her commitment to improving care and reducing healthcare costs has led her to embrace the benefits in an integrative medicine, which combines traditional care protocols with lifestyle wellness and alternative care options. As CEO of Health Alternatives, Cynthia leverages over 20 years of consulting experience in financial institutions, healthcare, and the cannabis industry. Cynthia's entrepreneurial journey includes founding her consulting firm in 2006 and later serving as a chief strategy officer and president. International services at the HCI Group. Her leadership facilitated a 400% growth over 5 years, culminating in a successful sale to a billion-dollar tech company in 2017. Cynthia holds an MBA from Drexel University, a BSBA from the University of Delaware, and has completed MS Psychology coursework at Westchester University. With our proud honor to welcome not one, but two phenomenal guests on our show. Welcome, Jessica, and welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Wow, ladies, I'm blown away. I mean, I know this is only a very small little glimpse of your resume, but we are very honored to have you both on our show to share your stories and to share what you're doing for the community. And I know this is going to be a lot of going back and forward, but I want to give you both at that moment to really just kind of open it up and just tell us a little bit more about who you are and your purpose. So Jessica, I'm going to start with you because I think, just to kind of kick this off, share a little bit more with our listeners about your background and obviously how you met and started to work together. Just kind of elaborate a little bit more. Jessica, please.
Yeah, sure. Well, you did a beautiful job with my bio just a minute ago. And I think I'll start with how Cynthia and I met. So when I was a physician assistant, I obviously graduated from Drexel. I started my career here in Philadelphia, in the Philadelphia area. And I heard you say go Birds earlier. So I think everyone is very happy today after that Super Bowl win. And I also am from New York, but I built my career here in Philly. And I really knew that I wanted to go beyond the hospital setting. And I really wanted to educate and empower people in a very different way. And so when I got my culinary medicine certification, I decided that the best way to reach the most amount of people was to produce a television show.
Love it.
And I had no idea what I was doing, but it was kind of baptism by fire. And that path led me to Cynthia, and her and her family were guests on one of the episodes. And we really took a deep dive into hemp and cannabinoids, and we visited her farm, and it was just an extraordinary experience. And Cynthia is one of those people that is so magnetic and such a hard worker. And I really admire her for the qualities that she possesses. And so we decided to team up on Intention Lifestyles. And we are an advocacy and educational business promoting industrial hemp, and specifically the hemp grain or hemp heart, and all of the beautiful nutrition and all of the potential that it has.
Excellent. No, I
Wow.
appreciate that, Jessica. And Cynthia, just to kind of bring you into this as well, I know that, Jessica shared a little bit about the background and how you guys met. I want to talk a little bit more about the hemp, obviously, and explain to our guests what exactly hemp is. Let's break it down a little bit because people may not be familiar with it and how it can be utilized in buildings, textiles, and even as in the food industry. So let's talk about it a little bit more, Cynthia.
Sure, absolutely. And thanks again for having me today, too. And, Randy and I go way back. Am I allowed to say, Randy, 30
Yeah.
years?
Wow.
Michael and I,
Oh, I love that.
Michael and I had just gotten married and we lived above Randy in the condo. And I think at that point you may have had your very first salon. And, I was very inspired by your dedication and your work ethic. And I can attest to it because the washer and the dryer kept running like all night long. So, so I knew you were a hard worker, but it's been a joy to watch your success over the years. So
Thank you. Thank you.
thanks so much for having me. But
Well,
yeah, so it's interesting. I entered the hemp business in 2017. I've been in financial institutions. Most of your listeners would probably know of MBNA America. I worked there for years, and then I moved into the healthcare industry, and I was focusing on healthcare IT and really thinking about sort of how do you improve care and reduce the cost of healthcare? Like if you really think about, a patient who's a generic, or maybe it's a geriatric patient in chronic pain, and what medicines are there available today, including in the integrative medicine space. So the first thing that sort of drew me to this cannabis world was medicine. And then once I got there and I realized the value of some of the cultivars that support the fiber and the grains, it became a fascinating space. And at that point, there was no turning back. So I have invested in New Frontier Data, which is a data analytics company that focuses on the cannabis industry, and then launched our grow in 2018 with a farmer partner, Jamie Hicks. He farms over 5,000 acres here in Chester County. And what's fascinating about hemp is it's part of this world of cannabis. And so people really, challenged with understanding the difference and how vast these cultivars are. So if you take a moment, you sort of think about your traditional knowledge around the cannabis plant, there are 150 cannabinoids. Most people only know about THC, which is the psychoactive cannabinoid, and CBD, which you hear on the shelves all the time. But there are many others like CBD and CBN, and we all have this. Here's a plant that we grew. We all have this endocannabinoid system, and as you take the cannabinoids into your system, it works with the endocannabinoid system, and it influences process like pain and mood and appetite. So we started with this cannabinoid grow in 2019 with a 35-year veteran of specialty crops, because this type of cultivar is much like growing a specialty crop. And then we moved into the fiber world. We actually partnered with Stroud Water Research Center, who actually looks at how the fiber as it's growing impacts the earth. It's a bioremediation plant, so it's pulling the impurities out of the earth as it grows. And then it grows into tall, thin stalks with a little bit of flour, a little bit of that flour oil, very small amount of cannabinoids. And then you have this wonderful stalk that you see wrapped up here in the bales. And the stalks can actually, and that's your cannabinoid plant, and the other one is your fiber. But the stalks can actually be what they call decorticated. And when you decorticate the plant, it gives you many hemp applications across a very wide market sector. So here's just a little example of all the things you can do with this fabulous thing called the hemp. And the definition of hemp for most listeners, it means you have 0.3 or less in THC. So the hemp plant is not going to get you high. Where in an in a traditional medical marijuana or in a recreational state, you'll find THC over the 0.3, and that's when you're looking for the other benefits that the plant can bring. So when we talk about the stalk, you can actually take the stalk and split it into a bast fiber, which are the long strings that make textiles and ropes and paper. Or you can use the hurd, which is sort of the woody core, and you can chop it for animal bedding. We do sell animal bedding through Ace Hardware now. Hempcrete for insulating buildings, or you can even make furniture out of the hempcrete. And then there's the seed itself, which I'd love Jessica to talk about. I mean, you can press the seed for the seed oil, which is very popular even for, and I think, Randy, you and I talked about this, cosmetics, soaps and shampoos. But then you also have the ability to dehull the seed. And Jessica, let me turn it over to you, and you can tell them a little bit about how, it impacts our ability to stay well.
Sure. And I think that's the biggest misconception is when people hear hemp, they immediately categorize it into a lot of stigmatization, right? But hemp can be a really versatile crop in so many ways, as Cynthia mentioned, from the industrial, insulation, concrete, fabrics. It's super absorbent. And there's so many ways to use it in applications that require a lot of fluid absorption, right? And we constantly talk about this every day. But it also has the seed. And once the seed, so literally the seed that grows the plant, like any other seed, once that seed is hulled, you get the hemp heart. And for many, many years, hemp hearts were readily available at the grocery store. And it's funny because they're found usually in the supplement section. I don't really think the grocers understood where to put them, but they are just like any seed. So if you think about a pumpkin seed, hemp hearts are just like that. And some people call them, you'll see in the literature and online, some people call them hemp hearts. Some people call them hemp grain. It all means the same thing. What's really neat about it is, as Cynthia mentioned, it does not have THC. It's not going to get you high, but instead we can look at it as a really nutrient dense food ingredient. So per 3 tablespoons, you're getting about 10 grams of protein, plant-based protein, which is pretty neat. And it's also one of those plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids. So we always talk in healthcare about, fat being such an important macronutrient, and omega-3 fats, there's literature to support so many benefits of omega-3 fats, and hemp seeds have them. They also supply antioxidants and minerals and vitamins. What's really cool too is they have a lovely, mellow, nutty flavor. So they don't taste very offensive. Again, when we think hemp, I think there's a flavor profile that we typically think about. Hemp hearts are so mild and so earthy and nutty and so versatile. Cynthia and I have worked together to create a lot of food recipes, including hemps. We wrote a hemp cookbook as well with our work with the Department of Agriculture last year. And it's such a great ingredient to just bump up the protein, bump up the fiber, add some nutrient density. And we've gotten such great feedback on the recipes that we've created together.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah. Absolutely fascinating, ladies. I'm impressed. Right. At the same time, I feel so much more informed than just from this brief conversation about hemp, because you are so right that, the first thing people that are just uneducated, they don't know, is hemp is associated with, the getting high, which is not true. Not true at all. Yes. It's not true at all. There's so many more benefits to it. And that graphic that was up before really broke it down. And while both of you were speaking and explaining it, I was able to follow, and it was very easy to follow. Yes, there it is right there. I really appreciated this graphic because it really just broke it down on the benefits of what hemp can do and the benefits in different ways, just from the consumer textiles to the foods and you listed the building materials, which I did not know. So it's very informative, and it does help. So Jessica, I just want to shift gears a little bit because before I shift gears to Jessica, I just have to make notes. Cynthia, I'm also a graduate of the University of Delaware. So I wanted to say that during the bio, but I was like, let me get them in and tell her when we get her bring them into the podcast. So shout out to our Blue Hens. But Jessica, You are an Emmy winner. Wow. Congratulations.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
Something to be extremely proud of. And when I was reading your bio, I said, Randy, that's incredible.
Right.
And it's beautiful when you are recognized, right, for your hard work. We always say, and Randy and I talk about this all the time with all of our guests or just us in conversation, that what we do, this is our purpose, right? We all have our purpose. We don't pour into our purpose to receive an award. That's not what we set out to do, right? There's a bigger purpose behind it. But when you do, receive that acknowledgement and that recognition, it's important to celebrate it. So, Jessica, you're an Emmy winner with your own show speaking about wellness. So congratulations on that. Could you tell us a little bit more about your show on Eat Your Way to Wellness, which I love the title, very successful content creating where you currently have over 33,000 followers and growing. So that's phenomenal. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I would love to. And congratulations to you. I mean, talk about being acknowledged. You were just acknowledged as well for your podcast. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. We were very excited about that.
Yeah. You know what? It's true. Particularly in healthcare, we don't enter this space for any accolade because it is a very selfless endeavor. But I did know that the show was one way to reach people. And I did know that, submitting it for an Emmy, which, I don't know if anyone knows the process, you get to self-submit and then I don't know, there's some sort of process in which they find the winner. But this show was so important to me. It was really a way to showcase culinary medicine. And what I wanted to do with this show, Eat Your Way to Wellness, is choose in every episode, choose a different diagnosis. So we explored hypertension in one episode, anxiety in another, constipation in another. And what I did was make a recipe that aligned with that diagnosis and then interview experts in that field. So Cynthia and her family were the experts in the anxiety episode. And I wanted to expose people to hemp. I thought that was really important because it was something that, was so sexy at the time and CBD was everywhere. But I think with the lack of regulation and people just really didn't know where to go for good information. So I thought that was really important to highlight her family. And then, in the constipation episode, we got to sit down with a physical therapist who was a pelvic floor specialist to talk about the proper way to position your body, during the time that you're in the bathroom, which is so important. So it was a really fun project to work on. And it was just me, believe it or not, it was just me. I created, wrote, and hosted it. I had two people from production team because that's all I could afford because it was my first show. And then my mom, who was my food stylist on set prep person. And so just us four, we went for it and it was a great experience and it won an Emmy. So,
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And we love that, to see those, work hard and be acknowledged and
family business.
Yes. And shout out to moms.
Right.
What we do without our moms. So Eat Your Way to Wellness. Tell us a little bit more. How can people watch? How can they support? Where can they go?
Sure. Yes. So it is now streaming on Tubi TV. So Tubi is a free app if you have any sort of streaming service at your house. And obviously, if you go to my social media or thewellnesskitchenista.com, you can see that. And I am currently writing another show, kind of a spin-off season show. So stay tuned for more details on that.
That's exciting. Wow. That's really, really exciting. Well, as you, continue to go through the process of writing the new show, make sure you stay in touch with us because we would love to bring you on maybe at a later date to discuss the show or when you can, because we always love to follow up with our guests, right? Randy, we always like to see and check in on them and watch their journey because that's what it's all about. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And I think that's what's most impactful and that we share that and we have the courage to tell the story and to showcase the sacrifices and the hardships that we go through because that's what it's all about. So as two female entrepreneurs who have worked in all areas of various industries and accomplished so much personally and professionally, what is a piece of advice you would give for women looking to start their own businesses? And I will start with you, Cynthia.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And I think Jessica left out one important piece. How many followers do your chickens have?
Oh, yes. My chickens have their own TikTok, and there's like they have like 45,000 people following them as well, which is crazy.
That's
Okay.
weird. It's just on TikTok.
Yeah, just
So
on
funny.
TikTok.
The kicker.
Just a TikTok.
So, when I think about advice for other women and just entrepreneurs in general, I kind of go back to my opening comment, my admiration for Randy, the dedication and the work ethic, right? It starts there. I mean, it's a 24/7. You're never really on vacation. You're always clocked in. You're never really off. I think that is key. And then what I have found is, you know, just embrace the unknown, which I'm sure you all have felt. And I've aligned myself with such qualified subject matter experts like Jessica, like Jamie Hicks, the fourth generation farmer with 5,000 acres that he manages, Juan Medina, who's a 40-year veteran of specialty crops, the Stroudwater Research Center. I mean, you can't have a better partner when it comes, right? I have Dr. Lake, he's an osteopathic physician and a compounding pharmacist who helps us with our Wellness Canna Group products, which come from the oils and the buds of the cannabinoid plant. We have Thomas Jefferson University's Design, Engineer, and Commerce College. We work with them on sustainable products for the horticulture industry coming out of the hemp fiber stalks that I talked about. And then just recently working with the University of Delaware on a fiber retool project to have clothes, let's save the clothes from going to the landfill, breaking them down and retooling them with the benefits of hemp fabric. So I think it's sort of embrace that unknown. And as long as you can find the Jessicas to partner with, then you can be confident and move forward. So that's my main recommendation.
And that's some very good advice.
I have a question. Where's hemp originate?
When you say originate,
where do they grow it first? Like it's always been produced in the United States, or?
Well, George Washington required people to grow hemp.
Really?
And we have in Pennsylvania, we have townships that are Hempfield is the name of the township. So it's been in the U.S. for many, many generations. But a lot of the hemp cultivars, which have been developed over the years, come from China. It's quite interesting now. Our horse bedding that comes from the herd of the hemp plant is coming from France. We in Pennsylvania and across the U.S. have done a wonderful job of starting to develop different cultivars that allow unique purposes for the plants that we grow. So it's exciting. I think Israel has done a fabulous job at some of the research and development on the cannabinoid and medicine side, but just knowing there are people now sort of getting engaged. I mean, in Pennsylvania, we have about 8 academic medical centers who have now partnered with medical marijuana operators to do research, really good research. And so whether you're talking about sort of the medicine, the recreational use, the fiber use, the grain use, now these seeds and these cultivars are coming from all around the world as we zero in on the power. And I really do believe it's, one of those gifts to society that we need to advocate.
Yes, no, and I appreciate you enlightening us a little bit more about that and the history behind it. And just to kind of tie back in the original question, I want to give Jessica a chance to speak on her background in entrepreneurship and personally and professionally. What piece of advice would you give, another woman maybe looking to start their own business? Because it's just to get your perspective on that and your advice. Jessica, please.
A piece of advice that was given to me early on, and I always try to pass this along to those starting their own business or their own project, is that one of the only ways to learn is to make mistakes. And so it is so important, not only those successes, which I think so many people put so much stake in, but learning what not to do can sometimes be as equally as important. And something that my husband, who, he's been, so I talk about the 4 people in the kitchen, but my husband was also present in helping with the show. And he has been an advocate of mine since day one when I really wanted to leave full-time healthcare and do all the crazy things that I've done. But to understand what you're worth, particularly as a woman, is so important. And sometimes you just have to ask for what you think you're worth. And people can have, they have the opportunity to say no or give you the response they want to give you, but you have to know what you're worth and what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do as you make your way in business.
Great advice, right?
Yes, very, very, very important advice. And, thank you, Jessica, for that. And thank you, Cynthia, for that, because my takeaway is that it's important that you are aware that it's okay to make mistakes, but learn from them. And it's important to associate yourself with the right people. And it's okay not to know it all, but find the right people that can teach you and mentor you to learn. And, that's some really great advice, even, for me, and I'm sure all of our viewers and listeners that, that hear that advice will also receive it as well. But even just for me, I'm like, yes, that's right. Thank you for those reminders, ladies. Like, even though I've been in business for a long time and I'm still needing to be reminded that it's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay not to know it all. It really is okay. But go out there and learn. Go out. You know what you don't want. You know what's wrong. So go out there and learn and associate yourself with the people that do know, that could teach you and guide you.
And many of our guests say curiosity is, what everybody needs to be curious, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah, no, you're right, Randy. And Randy and I talk about this all the time on our show that, we never stop learning. Right? We never stop, no matter at what point you are in your business. Randy has had his business for over 45 years, very successful, 5 Curry Hair Skin and Nails location in the tri-state area for over 45 years and is still learning. Right? Randy,
Yes.
like you,
Every day.
Right. Every day. Right. Every day. We are constantly evolving. Right. And for the both of you, you definitely are taking an industry that some, actually many don't understand. And taking it by storm. And I love that it's one that it's not just one, but 2 female entrepreneurs. And that's something that's inspiring to me personally. So thank you, ladies, for doing what you're doing and breaking those barriers. And that's something that I also wanted to touch on. And Cynthia, you can also maybe kind of chime in on this. What kind of barriers do you face in the hemp industry?
Oh, many. I think the analogy I have used with many representatives and senators that have visited the farm is it's like you're crossing the river and you're jumping rock to rock, but the entire time the rocks are moving. So the regulatory hotbed has just been a tremendous challenge. I never wanted to get into politics. You have no choice but to be an advocate to push down the barrier, right? And so I think I also have been in banking and healthcare IT and now farming, all traditionally men-driven industries, right? So, you have to be able to embrace that and prove, to Jessica's point, your value and that you do have a place in those industries and push hard for that. And maybe we have to work twice as hard and make twice as many accomplishments to get recognized, but that goes back to the dedication, right? And the hard work. So, I think hemp's been one of the challenging. Most people have a challenge in starting a new business in an emerging industry. That's a regulatory hotbed is a triple whammy, but we will pursue.
Yes, that's right. You will pursue and you will continue to be successful. So, ladies, we are winding down at the end of this conversation, which I always look at the time and I'm like,
I wish it could
time,
go on.
right. Time flies when you're having fun, and we can keep going because this topic is important to talk about, but also to showcase what you're doing in the community. And it's really inspiring and it's really awesome. But we always have this final question we like to ask our guests, and it's the last question of the interview. So I will say it And then Cynthia, I'll have you go first this time, because Jessica, I asked her the first question. So in the beginning of the interview, so I'll have you go with the first one of the last question. So the question is, if you had an opportunity to chat with anyone on a podcast from the past or present, who would it be and why? Cynthia.
Okay. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to answer the questions, but my answer to Michael is yes, it will become recreational NPA. We're just going to wait it out. It's interesting. I think it would be Fred Astaire, which you probably like, where did that come from?
I love Fred Astaire.
But, a few years ago, I took up social dancing and I started to really understand the value and the benefit to my health. And then I started researching dancing and really understanding the benefit and the wellness, and it works with your mind, it works with your body. You feel like you've been to the gym, but you actually had a good time and you didn't even get sweaty. And so I'd have to say, for your audience, anyone in that world of dance, I don't know if you've had someone, I glanced at your past podcast, I'm not sure you have, but I think the wellness value of dance I'd have on the show.
Love it.
Wow.
I love it. I actually have background in dance. I taught dance for 25 years and took ballet, tap, jazz since I was 3. So
I didn't even know that.
I love Broadway. I love
Look, Randy's still learning. Look at that. See?
Yeah.
So I love that one. And that's a new answer. So that's definitely new. Right. So Jessica, your turn.
Oof, so many. I look at all of the people in my field and I want to be a sponge and talk to everybody. I mean, Julia Child, Guy Fieri, Alton Brown, right? Someone though that two scientists I've always wanted to interview. I think about things that I use every day in my life and in the practice of medicine. So Louis Pasteur, who is the French scientist, I'm pretty sure he's French scientist, who was responsible for pasteurization and that microbiology piece of medicine, and so many other things too, vaccinations he was really involved in. And George Papanikolaou, who he and his wife, he mostly, but I know his wife was by his side when he invented the pap smear. And I always think about these things, so like you think about, this is something that every woman does once a year, all the time, and how incredible that must have been to create and that testing, that piece of testing. So I think about those two scientists. I would love to nerd out with them.
Oh, it makes sense to me. It does. No, and
Great answers.
Yes, excellent answers, and it makes sense. And we always love to hear our guests' answers, because if we going back to learning, we're always learning, a little bit more about them and their personality and their passions and where their mind is at. And we love that. It just really, it really tells so much about your characters, and it tells us so much about your personality and your passion.
Cynthia, are you dragging Michael to this dance?
I have for a few lessons, only when it's not boating or golf season.
There you go.
But I'll tell you, Randy, I'd love to see you there, because it's just a wonderful, all around healthy way to be. And the older I get, the more I can see the impact that it makes on my mind and my stress, especially as an entrepreneur. and I guess you'll be talking about that offline with your wife.
Yes, very true.
Actually, your sister invited me to dance. Yeah,
oh my gosh. She just did her first showcase at 68, by the way, and she looked absolutely fabulous. Curry did her hair. She had a beautiful outfit on, and she did her body looked great from her work at the gym and the dance studio. And yeah, thanks for supporting that. It was great. We had 25 of us joined in the audience.
Wow. I love that. Well, ladies, again, before you leave us, I wanted to make sure that we shared with our viewers and listeners ways that they can follow you and continue to support you in your journey. So we were just showcasing the Instagram page and socials and whatnot at the bottom of the screen, just to kind of reiterate. I believe it is Jessica. You are the wellnesskitchenista.com and the wellnesskitchenista on your socials.
Yep.
And then Cynthia, you are at Hemp Alternative. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. And then you can visit all the socials. There you go. Boom.
Yeah.
Love it. Shout out to the production team for always having it ready for us. And it's important that you go out and follow. I already did. I made sure I followed all the Instagram pages to make sure that I'm following because I'm interested.
Yeah.
You sparked my interest, and someone who's very in tune with food, and not just food, but health.
Right.
And I'm always learning. And someone who battles lupus for, oh my gosh, I want to say 14 years now. I'm always learning of different and innovative ways to help your mind, your body, your soul, everything, because it all comes together. Everything should be aligned. And this was very informative, and this was very helpful. So thank you to you both.
Jessica, I got a really quick question. What should everybody be eating? What should be in everyone's diet? An ingredient?
It's a tough one.
It's such a good question. And I am very careful to make blanket recommendations because I think we could say like peanuts, for example, are healthy, but not if you're allergic, right? There's so many things that we could say, but I will say something missing. It's kind of my soapbox right now. Something missing from the majority of people's diets is fiber. And fiber is huge. It's found in a lot of different foods. A lot of people think about fiber in terms of bowel regularity, but soluble fiber can help with LDL cholesterol levels. Certain fibers can feed the gut microbiome. So I think fiber, as long as it's okay with your healthcare providers, my disclaimer, then fiber. Yeah, look for more sources of fiber.
I totally agree. Gut health is very important because it's important to be in tune with that. And a lot of people that I've met in my time since being diagnosed with lupus, they don't understand gut health and the importance of that. So I think that's an excellent answer, and I support that too.
I've been eating raw ginger every morning.
Oh, sure.
Ginger's very good for you. Yes, no, ginger's very, very good for you. Well, ladies, I know that we could keep going, but the time has come to an end, and it's always mindful of that. But again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Sharing your stories, and we wish you both the best of luck in continued success in your careers. And don't forget us, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget us. We look forward to the next Emmy. We look forward to the next one. So thank you again. Oh, wow. Yeah. Randy, another great show.
Yeah, it's amazing what people can do.
Right. No, very informative. I was very, very excited about this particular show and these guests because it's something that I'm not aware of. I'm not surrounded by it as much. And I was very intrigued to get to know both Cynthia and Jessica some more, but also learn about their industry and what they're doing to obviously help those and encourage and also teach. And that was really cool. Really, really fascinated by the information provided today. So as a reminder, make sure you go follow on their socials at The Wellness Kitchenista and at Hemp Alternative. Yep. Super awesome. Super, super awesome.
Powerful women, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, there you have it, Randy. Yeah. Another great show. And it's really awesome to be here with you. Yeah. And again, as a reminder, if you're interested in following our journey, following more guests, learning about the influential people that we have on the show, or you want to be a guest, visit our website. Well, we'll go to our social media, but visit the website at theprontopodcast.com and enter to maybe you're interested in being showcased on our show. We are also looking for sponsors. If you're interested in showcasing a product or you're interested in sponsoring a segment, we are always looking for there you go, prontopodcast.com. And we are always here to help others shine. And that's what this platform is all about. Yep. It's about you, the individuals, the guests that we have on the show. And shout out to those that continue to support us. And if you're interested in giving us a vote, right?
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Best of Delaware. We are nominated in the podcast category. So you can visit the,
it's no Emmy.
No, but listen, it's a big deal to be recognized, and we're honored by that. But if you have the time, go give us a vote, show some support. We really appreciate it. And again, thank you to all of the guests that have made this possible.
Yep.
And hats off to the production team.
Yep.
Right.
Thank
Hats
you.
off to the production team. All right, Randy, stay tuned for our next show. Visit our socials to find out more information about our next episode. And we'll see you soon. Pronto, Randy.
Pronto, Vincenzo.